Heyo everybody, Haku here with the first of the 2022 Anime Awards here, the first of 7, and it's going to be Studio of the Year. This is going to be sort of a fun, lighthearted look at the studios. I did want to address at the beginning that, I don't feel as though I am equipped or that it's right for me to speak on things like how the studio treats its workers or anything like that, especially when the situation with the anime industry is more complex than that. Most studios seem to generally be in a state where it's not the studio that's causing any issues for its workers, it's wider, work industry related issues, issues with people like producers, or importantly, because of the way that anime is done, investors. I don't feel as though, even with the knowledge that I do have, that it's appropriate for me to put anything I know about any of that into my judgment for this award. So this award is based just on what anime they've made in 2022 and how good I thought that anime was. That's a little bit of a heavy subject to hit you with right at the beginning of this video, but I think it's important for all of my awards to let you know how I came to view them, and to at least bring up the elephant in the room that there are issues with the anime industry, but they aren't really specific studio issues, and I'm not really taking that into account when making my decision for these awards. And for 2022, I've got a couple shoutouts. I will shout out Studio Bones because I haven't watched any of these yet, but they did make Boku no Hero Academia Season 6, which I've heard is better than Season 5. They made Mob Psycho Season 3. They had, Vanitas no Carte? Carte? I'm just now realizing I've never actually heard that said out loud. They had Core 2 of that. So Bones had a pretty solid year, but I haven't watched any of those. And also shout out to Wit, because Wit made Osama Ranking, which ended in 2022 and was really, really good. And they also helped to work on Spy Family. So I thought that it was at least right to mention both of those studios, even if they're not going to be in the top 5 here. And also, while the rest of my awards are going to be top 10 videos, I am only doing top 5 because there's kind of less studios to talk about. And with these 5, 4, and 3 were solid. They were good, but I think that there was a very, very clear second place that stood out from them, and then a very, very clear first place that stood out from even that. And so to start things off, in 5th place, I did put Doga Kobo. Doga Kobo had RPG Fudo-san, they had Kawaii Dake Janai Shikimori-san. Both of those were good. They're probably not like award winners for any of my categories or anything, but they were both good. They were both solid. On top of that, they made the Wataten movie, which I just reviewed recently, that I thought was also very good. So they had a solid 2022. All of the, like I said, 5 through 3 are very, very good. It's just that they weren't the absolute insane standouts we had up at the top. In 4th place, I'm putting A1 Pictures. A1 Pictures had Lycoris Recoil. They also did another season of Kaguya-sama. They did a Sword Art Online movie and some more smaller projects. But yeah, they had a lot of good anime. My personal perception when it comes to A1 Pictures, honestly, since the early 2010s, my perception of most of their projects has been that their anime usually looks very, very good visually, but when I think of A1 anime, I loved Lycoris Recoil. You'll see when I get to, the actual anime of the year countdown. While I loved it, it had a good story. A lot of A1 anime, from my experience, is usually lighter on the story, even if the visuals are amazing. But that's just sort of my impression of the studio. 3rd place is PA Works, and honestly, they're being carried by Akiba Maid War. So PA Works made Akiba Maid War and Paripikome in 2022, and Paripikome I thought was okay. I thought it was alright. It is kind of itself carried by the opening a bit, but Akiba Maid War's direction was incredible. I thought that visually it was really, really good. The storytelling and the way that they used their direction to make comparisons between the first episode and last episode, things they do with the ending. There's so many really cool things that the direction did for Akiba Maid War that just stuck with me. And Akiba Maid War is one of those anime that after finishing it, it's one that has stayed in my head and that I've kept thinking about, where I've moved on from other series. That one is just stuck in my brain a bit. So for me, PA Works is in third, and though Pari Pikome was good, I'm putting them all the way up here, carried by Akiba Maid War. The obvious second place I mentioned before is MAPPA. So MAPPA is a studio that when I did anime awards years ago, so I think I did awards in like 2017 or 2018, something like that, and then I haven't done them since then. In 2022, anime is the return, even though I'm making this video in 2024. I gave MAPPA number 1 for Studio of the Year for their work on stuff like, I think it was like Garo Vanishing Line and Shingeki no Bahamut Virgin Soul, stuff like that. I think they had Zombieland Saga that year. I think all of those would have been like 2018, 2017, something like that. They had a really good year that year. And again, their anime are just really, really good. This year, they had Dance Dance Danseur, they had Kakegurui Twin, they had Attack on Titan Final Season Part 2, and they had Chainsaw Man. And the two that I watched, the two that are in the visual that I'm going to put up here, were incredible. They were very, very good. The visual quality, the music, everything that they did with their productions were just really, really good. Chainsaw Man was incredible. There was so much care put into its production, so much detail that was put in. It was really just one of the best sort of adaptations I've seen in terms of really putting your all into making an anime. So MAPPA did incredibly good, and it's clearly above the other three in my opinion. But even then, there was another that I thought was clearly above it. And my award for 2022 Studio of the Year goes to Cloverworks. Cloverworks just had one of the most insane years I've seen from any anime studio ever, kind of. They just made so many anime. They made so much. And not only did they make so many anime, but so many of the anime that they made was really good. Some of it was some of my favorite stuff. A lot of it was the most popular stuff of the year, the most acclaimed stuff of the year. So they made a ton of stuff, and the stuff they made was just sitting at the top of the pack. I'm actually going to need to refer to my notes to remember all the things they made. They made Tokyo 24-ku, which I thought was good, but kind of the weaker part of this pack. But beyond that, they made Sono Bisque Doll, or My Dress Up Darling. They made Akiba-chan's sailor uniform. They made Spy Family Part 1 and Part 2, working with Wit. They made Kunoichi Tsubaki, which I loved. They made Shadow's House Season 2, and Shadow's House is so incredible and so underrated. They made Bocchi the Rock, which again blew up and was really, really, really good. They just made so many anime, and the anime that they made were of such a high level that when it came to making the Studio of the Year award, I was like, I gotta shout out MAPPA for being a clear second, but Cloverworks is just an untouchable number 1 for 2022 in my opinion. So that's where we are. There's our awards for the year. Thank you to everybody who sat through this and watched it. Like if you did like the video, comment down there. Tell me what you thought of my awards. Who do you think the best studios were for 2022? Excited to get through all these projects and get to work on 2023 anime. But beyond that, the rest of the awards will be coming soon after this, back to back to back to back to back. So thank you all so much for being a part of this journey. Like if you like the video, comment down there, subscribe for much more anime stuff if you want to. Follow on Twitter if you want. If you want a link to the Discord server, it's free and open for anyone. Just ask and I can give you a link. If you would like to help support the channel and get One Piece a bit early, a shout out at the end of videos, you can go down below and hit join to become a channel member. You can go to patreon.com/HakuOfTheTubes, or a link will be in the description to become a patron. Patrons and channel members, like I said, get a shout out, so thank you to them. Thank you to Chosen Regular Evan Holly, Magical Girls, Efranono and Smeller Dog, Cherryton Student, David Langstaff, Slayer Candidates, SG and Stance Eater, and Pure Element Pati Ardialo. Thank you all so much for your support, and thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you all next time.